Criminal activity using fraudulent LLCs runs so deep that Russian oligarchs and North Korean cybercriminals have attempted to take advantage of the lax legal environment in the United States. So it makes sense that my investigation into the scam victims of fake LLCs turned into a spy novel-like mission to find one woman who connects so many of them. Why are limited liability corporations, or LLCs, ripe for fraudulent activity? LLCs shield their owners' personal assets from business debts and lawsuits. The laws and filing requirements vary by state, and many states require very little information in public filings. Often, states don't even require the owner's name to be listed on paperwork. This anonymity is alluring for many business owners, some of whom have incentive to remain in the dark. Waves of international crime and money laundering have increased as many businesses, especially in states like Wyoming, Nevada, and Delaware, take advantage of the fractured legal landscape. At the center of this are registered agents, middlemen that file corporate paperwork and provide an address for businesses to receive legal notices. The scale of the problem is incredibly difficult to gauge. One investigation by Wired magazine found that a company called Registered Agent Inc. was responsible for establishing 30,000 businesses under fake names. That's just one company. In the anonymous paperwork of LLC registrations, scam victims are desperate to find a real person to help them. And among the millions of LLCs in the US, around 45,000 have been organized across 10 states by the same person, Levette Dobson. Levette Dobson is perhaps the most prolific signatory of corporate paperwork in the entire nation. At first, I had no idea whether or not she was even real. Dobson appears in a couple news stories about LLCs being taken out in small business owners' names without their consent in Wyoming. She's on the paperwork of a fraudulent LLC in Arizona that stole $10,000 from an elderly woman. In 2022, a class action lawsuit from New York mentions Dobson as the incorporator of an LLC taken out fraudulently in a victim's name in that state. Despite all the mystery, there was one clue. The same couple of registered agents accompanied all of her filings. Turns out, she works for one of these companies. For nearly 20 years, Levette Dobson has been an employee of Busy, a registered agent that, for a few fees, helps entrepreneurs establish businesses, including LLCs. Because the process is so easy, companies like Busy are regularly targeted by an international underbelly of scammers looking to set up shop in the US. It took me a while, but Busy arranged for me to speak with Levette Dobson. Calling her felt like I had found Batman after years of searching, even though it had only been a couple of months. She understood why I was calling, and I promised not to use her actual voice.
If you look at the paperwork, it clearly states that I am the organizer. This is the paperwork that we put together on somebody's behalf.
If Dobson, as the organizer, is the only person whose name is on a document, it might appear to some people as if she's the CEO, which Dobson says is inaccurate.
When somebody is scammed or going through fraudulent mishap and they see my name on that, they automatically think that I'm frauding them.
Busy is aware of the risk and employs a fraud team that tries to ferret out illicit activity, but bad actors are constantly innovating and it's hard to keep up. Some states are stepping up to combat the fraud. New York State's LLC Transparency Act is scheduled to go into effect in 2026, requiring all LLCs to disclose all beneficial owners. So if you own at least 25% of the company or exercise substantial control, your name will need to be on the public filing. But not much is happening at the federal level. Under the Trump administration, the Treasury Department announced in March of 2025 that it won't be enforcing the Corporate Transparency Act, a piece of bipartisan legislation passed by Congress in 2021 meant to crack down on shell companies. Looser oversight at the federal level means enforcement will likely boil down to the states. It also means that, in the absence of any legally enforceable transparency in the long term, you will likely see Levette Dobson associated with more businesses that have no traceable owners. And it will continue to be entirely legal.